Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pack Daddy NFL. I'm just trying to get you in the mood for some football. That's Moo-You. I had him reach out to me. He's got some music. You can find all the information you need to know in the description. But he reached out to me, said he wanted me to check out some of his music, and I kind of liked it. So I figured, you know what? Maybe I should try some different music on the channel. He gave me permission to use his music. So I took a little sample of it. Anyways, if you like that, all the information is in the description. But today we decided to do something a little differently. I reached out to the Facebook community and I asked them for some ideas. What could we do for the channel? And something that a lot of the guys wanted to do was to do some kind of like roundtable discussion, debate kind of thing. And I thought, all right, we'll give it a shot. So this is us trying that. So today we've got Chris and Keelan. They're pretty good sports because 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, not for Chris. It's like 1 p.m. or whatever for him. But anyways, let's get it started because the first question involves a quarterback by the name of Josh Allen. There's a lot of debate about is he any good, is he whatever. So I'm just curious, as far as you guys are concerned, what do you think about Josh Allen? Chris, we're going to start with you.
So I think Josh Allen has got an incredible skill set. However, I don't believe he is going to translate that to the next level. He has had a okay season in college, but I believe he still has many weaknesses. His accuracy is not great compared to many of other quarterbacks in this class. His ball security is not good, and that's showing through interceptions he has thrown this season. Again, through his decision making, that is leading to many interceptions. Despite the fact he has good arm talent, he's very versatile in the pocket. He has a very, very tight pass, quick spiral. He's just not had a top season in college, and although I don't believe he's a bad quarterback, I can't see him translating that to the next level. And compared to, for me, he's the 5th ranked quarterback in this class, and compared to the 4 above him, I don't believe he's going to have the same success at the next level.
Burn. Keelan, tell me what you got, man.
All right, I agree with Chris a lot. He is my 5th best quarterback. He's very inaccurate. I believe it was 56%. And he's just the poor decision making, like Chris said. He runs out of room on the field. He's just, when he's scrambling, he's good at. He's got good mobility, but he runs out of room on the field. He's like steps away from getting out of bounds. He's not very good with the shorter receivers, as he's 6'5", and poor against the press. Has poor feet placement. I have like double the amount of cons on him than pros. I was watching tape this week, and he has some good traits. He doesn't give up. His arm strength is good. He's a big, white, mobile quarterback, so I feel like some teams are gonna like that, but I don't see anything too special and nothing that will translate into the NFL unless he gets the proper training from a good coach.
Well, he's big and white, so that's awesome. I was kind of hoping you guys would disagree a little bit, but we'll get there eventually. Question number 2. Wide receivers, typically Courtland Sutton, Calvin Ridley are the top 2. I'm curious, Keelan, we'll start with you this time. Who do you think is the best wide receiver? How good is he?
Well, I think I have Courtland Sutton up there as the top receiver. His big size, he can catch the ball in the end zone. He can be like that number 1 guy for your quarterback. He can go up and beat the defensive back to the ball. He's got, okay speed, but he can break the tackle. He can jump. I've noticed watching tape, he got frustrated a lot. He got a couple of pass interference called on him in the end zone. I noticed that he runs a lot of the screen plays as well as vertical offense. Calvin Ridley, I think he's the better speed guy, the better route runner, catcher. He has good work ethic, and he's got good size for a speed guy at 6'1", but I don't think he's all that reliable. I don't think his ceiling's that as high as Cortland Sutton. He did have a fairly inaccurate QB in Jalen Hurts all season, but if you're going to be a superstar QB, I think you have to show out a little bit better.
Chris, Ridley or Sutton?
I've got Ridley as my number one receiver. So he's a fantastic route runner. He's had numerous good seasons in college. He's got good speed, better speed than Sutton, I believe. However, that will show come combine, things like that. And pro days, obviously. The main thing I really like about Ridley is his first step. So he's in college. He's numerous times he has beaten a cornerback through his first step and managed to break free for a big yard gain. And that also comes with quick feet. He's athletic. He's got not incredible height, but he's relatively tall, at 6'1". He's got a smaller build for a 6'1" guy, which is not necessarily a bad thing. However, that could show when it comes to things like blocking at the next level. He's possibly going to have to bulk up a little bit. He, as I was talking about, his speed is. I'm not sure exactly what he's projected to have in the 40-yard dash, but I believe he's quicker than Sutton. He's a playmaker. He's had a few drops throughout college, but he should be able to get past that, and he's not had amazing quarterback play all the time throughout college, and so that's not helped him. And he didn't have a great game in the national last week, so that's sort of a blip, because he's like, is he a big game player kind of thing? Is he going to step up? And so I think that'll show throughout the next 3 months of the scouting process. Sutton is different to Ridley. He's a little bit bigger, more of a physical receiver, more of a go up and get the ball kind of guy rather than get open kind of guy. And I think that's where I prefer Ridley to Sutton. Sutton's he's a big physical guy that you throw up the ball to. He's not going to get you that big gain, I don't believe. He's not as quick as Ridley, rather. My bad. He's not ran as many routes throughout college, and when watching tape, he doesn't get open as much as Ridley does, in my opinion. And so for that reason, I've got Ridley as my number one receiver.
So I didn't ask you that, in the preparation, but I have heard that he compares to Mike Evans. Does anybody agree, disagree that Cortland Sutton is sort of a Mike Evans wide receiver?
I've seen that comparison a lot. I can see where it comes from. However, I don't think that he's got as much sort of superstar number one wide receiver potential as a Mike Evans is at the moment, for example.
Keelan, what do you think?
I haven't seen that comparison, but I can see the similarities. I'm pretty sure Mike Evans is 6'3", so similar height, similar build.
Yeah, I think he's 6'5", but yeah, they're both pretty big.
Yeah, I think he's a bit bigger than that.
My bad. I thought they were 1 inch apart. I just didn't know which way. I think Sutton has the potential to become a Mike Evans or someone even better, and that's kind of hard because Evans is a top-notch receiver in the NFL right now. But I think Cortland Sutton does have the potential to become a Mike Evans.
Chris, how high is too high to draft a running back?
Well, it depends on the running back. For example, let's take a couple out of last year's draft in Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey. As a Panthers fan myself, I didn't hate the McCaffrey pick. I liked it. However, I just felt it was too early. Unless it's an every down back that's going to make a huge impact on your football team, I don't think it's worth taking them too early. Because if you look at many of the top running backs in the NFL at the moment, you've got Le'Veon Bell, Jordan Howard, Alvin Kamara. There's numerous more guys than that. They have all been taken later in the draft. And especially this year, we've got a really deep running back class. And obviously Saquon Barkley is above the rest of the class. But is it really worth taking him for the drop that you've got to the next guy down for picking him at first overall as opposed to the 20th pick in the second round, let's say? It's like, is that gap in picks really worth the difference in sort of the potential of the guy you're drafting? And so Saquon Barkley is a fantastic running back. He is the best running back coming out of college for years. But would it be wise to reach on him almost and for the Browns to take him first overall? I don't believe so. And so for me, I think Barkley should be going around the 10 mark. I think that wouldn't be too high for him. But I personally, I'm not a fan of running backs going early in the first round.
Keelan?
I'm a fan of running backs. You saw Fournette last year go number 4 to the Jags. I'm pretty sure Zeke the year before to the Cowboys at 4.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. I think I have Barkley going 4 this year to the Browns. It depends on the running back, like Chris said. If it's like, Barkley is a generational talent. I think he's better than Fournette. I think he's better than Ezekiel Elliott. He's the best running back coming out of college that I've seen, and I would take him at number 1 if I was a GM of a team that was in need of a running back. I don't know if I would say that to Fournette or Ezekiel Elliott, but I would take Barkley number 1.
So I think we agree Bradley Chubb is probably the top edge rusher of this group. But I am curious who you think the second best edge rusher is. Could be 4-3, 3-4, doesn't matter. Who's the most talented pass rusher in this class, not named Bradley Chubb? Keelan, we'll start with you.
I think it's Arden Key. I saw you tweeted about something to do with off the field that might drop his stock, pardon me. But I do think he's the second most talented. He's got the good build of a pass rusher. You could also go and argue with Harold Landry. Both, I'm pretty sure, are 3-4 outside backers, but I think Key is just really good. I think he's a good pass rusher. I think he could do with, it's something we talk about with quarterbacks, but if he's like behind veterans, slotting in every once in a while, he can learn some more of his moves. I always thought it would be a good fit in Miami just because they have like Cam Wake he can learn from, and then obviously he's gonna retire soon, so he can eventually replace Wake. I just thought he'd be a good fit in Miami, and he'd be a top 15 pick for me for sure but I saw something to do with off the fields that might drop him to 20 to 25.
Yeah, no, before the season started, there was almost no debate that Arden Key was the top guy, but he had a real rough 2017, added a bunch of weight, injury, and now off the field stuff. But as far as talent, yeah, he was considered at least one of the top guys. Chris, what do you think?
I'm also on the Arden Key hype train, so to speak. He's my number 2 pass rusher in this class by a long way over the next guy. He's got a fantastic build. He's 6'6". He's got really long arms. He's developed pass rushing moves already. Throughout his years in college, he's created a lot of pressures, a lot of sacks. He's explosive. I think at the start of the last college season, he was probably, people were looking at him as a lock for a top 5 pick in this draft. And I think throughout this year in college, from the tape I've watched, one of the things that's impacted him in terms of production is he's been double teamed, triple teamed a lot more often than he had been in the past. We've seen that in the past where players' production has dropped off because of that. He's got off the field issues, which we're going to have to look into this off season. I think ultimately that is going to be what dictates where he goes in this draft. I can see him probably ending up going in the sort of 10 to 20 range. That's quite a big range, really. But I think I've actually got him going to Miami as well in my most recent mock draft. And so, a couple of cons. He needs to get off of blocks a little bit more often because, as I say, with him being sort of double teamed, triple teamed, he's often getting stopped in his ways there. If you look at Myles Garrett last year, even when he was getting double teamed, triple teamed, he's still making plays. He's still getting sacks, creating havoc on that line, basically. And I think that's something we've not seen from Arden Key this season, which is what would allow him to step up to that lock as a top 5 prospect. And I think that's why we're going to see him drop in this draft. And ultimately, as I say, the off-the-field issues are going to dictate where he goes. But for me, he's my second pass rusher in this class.
Yeah, I was trying to think how bad it could possibly be because I don't know what the off-the-field stuff is. I'm just hearing some rumors about it. But then I remembered that Joe Mixon is a running back that knocked a woman out cold on video and went in the middle of the second round. So I don't see how Arden Key falls out of the first, being a pass rusher that at one time, a year ago, he was considered basically the Myles Garrett of this draft. So I don't see how he falls out of maybe he slides to late first, but that's as late as I could possibly imagine him going. But let's move on to the final question. Who is the best cornerback in this draft? Chris, start us off.
For me, it's Travaris McFadden. So he's got good length. He's a ball hawk in a way. He's played well throughout college. Now, the other name that I would throw in there is Minkah Fitzpatrick, but for me, he's a safety, not a corner. Again, with Derwin James, he's played corner throughout college, but he's a safety rather than a corner, in my opinion. So Travaris McFadden, 6'2", 198 pounds. He's got great length, great size. He's started for 2 years in college now. He's sort of come up against some of the top receivers. He's been against the top, been against some of the top receivers into college, and he's sort of marked them one-on-one quite often. He's played in press coverage. He's played in cover coverage. He's shown a skill set that can be developed at the next level, and for me, he's. I'm trying to think how to put this. He's the only true number one cornerback in this class, I think. I think there is a lot of guys that are great corners, but I don't know how they're going to match up against top receivers at the next level. And for me, McFadden is the only guy that I've looked at so far that is going to be an out-and-out number one cornerback at the next level.
Nice, yeah, I haven't really heard his name much. At one point, kind of like Key, he was sort of the top guy, and now if you mock Tavares McFadden in the first round, people are going to scream at you. So I'm sure you're going to get a lot of crap in the comment section for that. But Keelan, what do you think?
I have Josh Jackson as my best corner, pardon me. He's 6'1", 192, tall. Well, tall enough to be a corner, that is. He's a ball hawk. He had 8 picks, 18 passes defended this year. I think this might have been his first year as a starter. I'm not sure, though. I haven't watched much Iowa football, to be honest with you. He's, like I said, good size. I also have Denzel Ward up there, but as an Ohio State fan, but I think he's more of a slot corner, a nickel corner. So I'm going to just call Josh Jackson as my best true corner. I think Tarvaris McFadden is kind of slow, kind of getting burned out. Last year, like right after last year's draft, I thought that, along with Arden Key being the best pass rusher, thought McFadden would have been the best corner, but shaping out to be pretty odd. He was, Josh Jackson, I think he was like maybe the best corner in the Big Ten. He was the Big Ten Defensive Back of the Year, so I guess that answers my question. Minka Fitzpatrick would be my number one corner, but I think he is more of a safety build than a corner, and I think he's gonna play safety at the next level. But that's what I said about Jalen Ramsey a couple years ago, so don't quote me on that. I just think Josh Jackson is head and shoulders ahead of the next corner on the board.
Yeah, and Josh Jackson gets no credit because of the college he goes to, but every time I hear somebody trash him because of where he plays, all I can think of is a guy that the Packers picked up that came out of there. He never got any respect. He never got any playing time. The Packers eventually let him go. He goes over to Buffalo, and now he's one of the top corners in the NFL, Micah Hyde. So I don't know what it is about Iowa that has people scared, but I have no issue with somebody coming out of that school. Chris, he kind of called you out a little bit with Tavares. I'm just curious if maybe you had something to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, he talks about his lack of speed, but from the tape I've watched at all, I don't see that. He's played primarily in press coverage, and he's often managed to stick with receivers speed-wise. He's got that burst that you look for in a player, that athleticism, and in terms of that speed, lack of speed, I don't see that in the tape I've watched at all.
I had to try to get a little confrontation. But we're going to end it right there. Chris and Keelan, thank you very much for your participation. Guys, please get involved in the Facebook group. That's kind of where we do all this stuff. If you want to get involved in debates, roundtable, we're still trying to work this out. We do the mock drafts through the group. There's a lot of different stuff. So subscribe, get in the Facebook group, get in the game. Draft is right around the corner. We got some more stuff coming out. Thank you. Have a good night.